What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are Traditional Fans with Opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. Dr. Stone, Season 4, Episodes 29, 30. So in these episodes, so um, So for like the computer, Senku reinvents a magnetic core memory and like in order to store info, and so he makes these like donut shaped magnets that are like basically around half a millimeter wide, with north and south polarity, and basically the computer like is able to do binary code, and then there's like around 30 million of like of these like donuts, and basically made like mesh grids and making Nixie tubes. And so then with the computer finished, then Senku directs like the construction of the rocket. They need aluminum, so the Perseus heads towards Australia to get bauxite. And and Ukio arrives from Corn City, delivers Ibara's Medusa, which was repaired using one of Kasaki's batteries. And basically, it's explained that due to the threat of Y-Man, they must build like basically the team must build a rocket as soon as possible. But there's only enough time to build a one-way uh rocket, so basically it can't descend or return to Earth. So basically, whoever goes to the moon will have to petrify themselves after facing Y-Man. Basically until humanity can progress up to reach the moon to save them. And the thing is, if it takes long, all their friends would be dead if that happens. So Chrome and Suka decides to make his own rocket that's capable of returning to Earth, and they decide to keep it a secret from Senku. So they ask Sai to teach them. So Sai starts teaching Chrome and Suka math, so that they can build the two-way rocket. And now to make the aluminum, for like Senku, so they need a lot of electricity. So which the amount that's required, they need a hydroelectric dam to do that. So basically, they have to go back to Ishigami Village to be able to do that, and they go to Indonesia, get rubber from some rubber trees, and basically Senku like also has everyone grab some rice so they can feed everyone. That's as like a gift to everyone, so they all have enough food. So they make a rice farm in the area, and they go to Treasure Island to revive Soyuz, Amaryllis, and everyone else that's there. And so basically, they get back to Ishigami Village, and so when Riri's revived, Chrome mentions that they're now the same age, and everyone's kind of annoyed because Chrome, like usual, doesn't confess his feelings for Riri. It's kind of a running gag. And so basically, there was a stone wall that was built around them, like protecting the statues, and like none of the humans know why it's there. Suka notices her Sagar and Chalk, who are her pig and dog friends, basically that they're still alive after 10 years and they built the wall to protect the statues, and then they each had families of their own. And then Francois celebrates with everyone being revived and all that, and using the rice to make sushi for everyone. And so basically, and so shown that before like the Perseus had left, Senku gave the village a secret mission, which was for the village to make a concrete dam, which was they used like bamboo like trees to help with some of like the to build up the strength because due to I guess the amount of force that's on that the dam would face, they really only needed a bamboo to go along with the concrete. But they have a dam, so they can get a lot of the electricity they need. See, I thought these were good episodes. Like, this deals with a lot about like the actual scientific development. So you have computers, obviously the rocket. Now they're trying to get aluminum, and Crow and Suko try and get a two-way rocket. You know, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I really like these episodes. These episodes. Looking forward to the next one. Killed Again, Mr. Detective, episodes 5 and 6. So in these episodes, in 5, Sakya, after being resurrected, notices that his body feels weird. Basically, his head was put on a different body, and and then yeah, so basically, so the bellboy, like whoever, like the killed him, switch his head with Nakaji's head to make pose it, make it. I guess however the bodies are posed, make it easier. So Saki's head was resurrected on Nakaji's body, and Saki suspects he wasn't the intended victim. And so they're able to so how they were to get his head back in his own body. Basically, Saki has Lilithia kill him and basically cut his head off and put it back on his own body. And Saki asked Cho about the original Bellboy, so basically, there was one son amongst the whole family that was killed. When Bellboy was caught and was found to be like a serial, and basically the Bellboy was a serial killer, not like some assassin like working for a syndicate, where. So, and then Sozorogi finds Torio filming a fall from Kolin's roof, and until like basically like with Shisaragi I guess be I guess pushing her. So Saki realizes that the drowning murder that's referenced by Bellboy. Like, basically, he accuses Shisaragi of being the murderer, and he's able to confirm it. So he scratched his name on Bellboy's back in order to identify him later. And when the his name is shown to be like scratched onto Shisaragi's back, that confirms that he's the killer. And Shisaragi then attacks him, claiming he only he has like the vision to direct the film. And so Cho realizes that the son that survived the first Bellboy murders was Shisaragi. Now Lithia knocks Shisaragi out, and basically Shisaragi finds that Shisaragi was stalking Haigamine, or I guess you call her Celestial Maiden. Lithia asks Sakura to quit being detective because how dangerous it is, basically because he keeps dying a lot. But Sakura says no. And now it turns out there are some other murders that Shisaragi did not commit. And Shisaragi decides to keep that a secret from Sakya. And it's revealed that Haigamine is actually a criminal named Yurie Y. Derringer. Basically, she had met Saki in order to, I guess, test how he is as a detective. So basically, she's evil. So then then next and then in episode 6, basically basically she was trying to invite Sakya and Lithia on on like a beach trip, and basically there's like money issues and like and basically so Sakya was wanting to get like a good job where he can pay for the tickets, and Sakya's the job that Lithia arrives with is like a basically searching for a wedding ring, and like it actually pays really well. And now when they go to like this amusement park, guess where they're trying to find the ring. And basically, beginning episode, Sakya is hit by a car and he's injured, but then like when he walks out, like with the crutches, whatever, trying to get to where Lithia's like at them because I guess there are some murders in this like Ferris wheel. Each of them were killed at each feeling like different like little like carriages whatever in the Ferris wheel were killed different ways. So Sakia is hit to like basically bludgeoned to death. Like basically it's like somewhere like hit him with a cast or something. So Sakia dies. Lithia resurrects him because she was concerned. She goes to the hospital after being concerned that he like Sakia would answer her calls. So and then and then so Saki and then like so Saki is resurrected, and then he and Lilithia go to the amusement park and they try go investigate murders and they meet Fido. So the detective, well they meet. So what they think is Fido, so the detective that called him turns out the person who actually was calling Sakia was Belka Zeppelin. Basically, it's an old friend. Like, and Fido's revealed to be like this dog detective, like a dog. Basically, Belka is like the like it basically the interpreter. Yeah, I don't know how Belka interprets a dog speech into human speech. Um, but yeah, so basically, Fido and Belka want to see how good Sakia is at being a detective before I guess they could tell him about this the like the seven men were. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, so he has to like solve like the murders of the Ferris wheel because there's like rumors of a spirit evil spirit possessing haunting it whatever. So yeah, I thought these were good episodes. Looking forward to the next one. Star Wars Maul Shadow Lords season 1 episodes 9, 10, and full season. So in these episodes, Brian Voss, who at this point is not the head of Crimson Dawn, it's Rentero. He offers Maul safe passage off Jack in exchange for Maul killing Rentero so Voss can take over um, Crimson Dawn. Now, side note with Brian Voss. So there is a Jedi with the same last name, Quinlan Voss. I looked up, so Quinlan Voss is a species, he's a Kifar, which is described as a near human. Giant Voss is described as a near human, but his species is not given, so it's not known if they're related. I'm gonna predict that they're gonna do a retcon of them being related. Have some memory barriers since Voss is very important to the EU during the like the prequel era, especially like the Republic comics, because with because like Quinlan Voss was made a very important character in those comics. Like he was like one of the most important characters. Like outside of like the characters that were just like that were major in the movies, because Voss has like a minor appearance in Phantom Menace. Um, and he's mentioned in Revenge of the Sith, but like Quinlan Voss being how important it was in the EU, I'm gonna predict they're gonna have Quinlan Voss in season 2 because of Dryden. Anyway, so Dryden gives Maul the Ryan viewpoint, and then so Maul uses a force to send a mental message to Devon, telling her, offering an alliance, to get everyone off the planet. And while Docky definitely doesn't trust Maul, I mean, I wouldn't trust Maul either. He's a former Sith Lord. Everyone reluctantly agrees to the alliance. So everyone meets up. They attacked by Inquisitors, and then Cast is killed by someone within in the smoke, and then you hear the breathing sound, a very iconic breathing sound, and it's Darth Vader. So then, the Jedi and Maul fight off, the Inquisitors and Darth Vader, and so Maul and Daki, they fight Vader, And while Devin tries to fight the Inquisitors, somehow Devin doesn't die. And so Maul lets Docky get killed by Vader so Devin would be more willing to fall to the dark side. And Devin sees Docky die and she gets pissed. So she gives into her anger, is able to like, like fight I guess better or whatever. So and then yeah, so what ends up happening is like during that like so so Maul like helps Devin escape. Lawson sacrificed himself to help Riley escape. So everyone escapes who's alive. So Lawson, Docky die, everyone playing cast of course. And everyone else escapes, and Devin agrees to become Maul's apprentice in order to get revenge on the Inquisitors and Vader. Okay, so here are my opinions about this. So as far as like the fight, so we've had a Maul versus Vader story before, um, in it, and basically, you know, like basically, so in the EU there was like a short story, whatever. So what they do is that they create like so they use like some dark side ways to either resurrect Maul, create a clone of him, or like some illusion of him, where basically the idea is that Maul would be able to defeat Vader and basically replace him because they believe that Vader was too close to the light side to be effective, so they believe Maul would be better because Maul, very much evil. Like, look, this is before like they tried to like humanize him, Disney or whatever, tried to humanize him, whatever. And so, and this is like shortly after the battle of Toprawa, when when at least a portion of the Death Star plans were stolen, and then this is before like the battle of Yavin, so it's very shortly before you know A New Hope, like very shortly, and then so Maul like fights Vader and like you know basically and Vader like you know kills Maul, and then and like Vader kills Maul, and on Calicar 6, that's where the duel's at, and then yeah, so basically then like it was in the store it's called Resurrection, like it was basically a short story, like I mean it was a comics like a one like a it was in Star Wars Tales 9, it was like basically it's like a one shot story, and like so with that, you would kind of think, okay, we would have a cool story here. Maul versus Vader, one-on-one fight. So here's it: you have Darth Maul, Jedi Master Docky, and Jedi Padawan Devin versus Darth Vader and two Inquisitors. You would think that Vader and the Inquisitors would outright win. I mean, because you had stormtroopers there, help with like the other people. I mean, look, yes, you have some Mandalorians, very powerful fighters, but it's like okay, you would think, as far as the lightsaber users are concerned, Vader and the Inquisitors should freaking win pretty handily. I mean, Maul's the biggest threat. Like, Devin should have been freaking killed by the Inquisitors. Like, even if she gave into her anger, like, when given to her anger, she should have been killed. Like, it should not have been that difficult for him to kill her. like I mean, it should not have been that difficult. Like it's not even. And the thing is, they were trying to kill her. It's not like so. It's not like what say with the Grand Inquisitor in Rebels, where you could say he was kind of like holding back because he was considering training Ezra instead of just killing him. Kind of like Vader when he fought Luke in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, where Vader I believe held back because he was concerned with train. He wanted to turn Luke to the dark side, basically be aggressive enough to beat Luke to submission to turn to the dark, but not enough to where he would be an ineffective apprentice. So like he held back, and yes, it was his son, of course, but especially with Turn Jedi, he definitely held back a little bit because Luke was a novice. Like Vader didn't need to do much, and Vader being Anakin could get a little overconfident, and so with in Rebels with Ezra Bridger versus Grand Inquisitor, whose real name I don't know because I don't believe it's ever been revealed. I could be wrong unless some comic or novel revealed it. So like so like Grand Inquisitor was wanting to train Ezra, and Ezra got more trained and battle experience. By the time we got to those two Inquisitors with season two, and even with him and Kanan teaming up against Vader, they had to get out. Like they had to get out like quick because Vader was gonna like overpower him. So I mean they escaped. I mean they had to escape because they were like Maul and Dent were gonna get killed. And I could see now. Let's leave some questions. Okay, so what happens to Devin? Like where does this show? Like where does season two take place? Like is there gonna be a time jump to like let's say after Solo or shortly before Solo? Because like because Osseo Dry Voss will have to be in charge of Crimson Dawn. Like will they show that attack that murder like Rintaro getting killed? Or we'll just say will they talk about off screen as it happened? Like, okay, Maul, killed Rintaro, Dry Voss took over. It's probably pretty easy. Now, Lisa, a question. So with the Shao Collective, I mean, are the Huts going to be involved? Like, so the Pikes, I think, are like, so you have Pikes and Death Watch that are under Maul's control. Like, you have Pikes and Death Watch, or at least what's left of them. So you have the Black Suns, and like you had the Black Suns, um, they like possibly get involved, and then you have the Huts. Now, are the Huts gonna be part of basically the third Shadow Clones? That's what it is. This is the third one. You know, will the Huts be involved, or they stay separate? Because they weren't. The Huts were not in the second one. They were in the first one. If the Black Suns are involved, which I think they will, how will that be handled? How I think that's gonna be handled is so Dry Voss, um, basically betray basically you could tell, okay, he's gonna take over Crimson Dawn and will serve Maul. Okay, I think a similar thing's gonna happen, and it's gonna be with Prince Zizor taking over the Black Suns. Like I'm called like Prince Zizor from like the big like major EU character from Shadows of the Empire. The Black Sun, basically syndicate leader. Basically, I think Maul Shadow Lord season two is going to be about him, about Zizor taking over the Black Suns and serving Maul. That's what I think. And so Maul will have full. Basically, it's going to be and however long that takes. And Devin will be training, becoming Maul's apprentice. And of course, you have others that we potentially do it. So with Dryan Voss, he could be a very important character. partly due to his last name. So his last name is Voss, and his species is described as near human, so not human. Basically, near human, basically the alien race that just looks human, but it's not human. So now, as far as last name Voss, you have Quinlan Voss. He is a near human, with his race specifically being Kifar. Quinlan Voss was a Jedi Knight. Also was part of one of Dooku's Dark Acolytes for a period of time. I'm going to predict. So right now, there's not a plot. There's nothing that states that Brian Voss and Quinlan Voss are related. I'm predicting that there's a retcon gonna happen that they are related. That Brian Voss is related to Quinlan Voss, and with you know Quinlan Voss being mentioned in Tales of the Underworld, and with basically this being like a mobster, a crime. Well, it should be more of a crime show. Um, I'm predicting that Quinlan Voss will get drawn in. I mean, with how important he was in the EU, and like you have with Quinlan Voss having used the dark side before. Of course, that leaves potentially Assad's Ventress being brought in. Like, I mean, like I'm gonna predict Assad's Ventress and Quinlan Voss are both gonna be in a future season. If this lasts for 2 seasons, they're gonna bring both of them in. Now, one question that becomes where will they if are they gonna end after 2 seasons, or are they actually gonna show when like the Shadow Collective is permanently gone? Like, when does that happen? Like, how's it like? Obviously, portrayals like I mean, in the EU, Zizor works with the Empire, so obviously the Black Suns will betray Maul. Safe to say the Pikes will as well. Crimson Dawn, maybe. Considering like in Disney's continuity, Kira was still in charge of Crimson Dawn by the time you got to by the time you got to like like past Empire Strikes Back. Now, as regards to what happens, I mean, there's some dumb things. So, like as far as like when it when Crimson Dawn like is like wiped out, basically like who knows like what like and so like the Crimson Dawn I think in the comics has been destroyed. Like you know like they've been defeated, but like basically I get but Kira went into hiding. As far as what happens, I don't know. Like I'll like honestly they got to explain what happens to Maul. Like, are they gonna show Maul finally like the whole show? Like, okay, here's the thing with him rebuilding. This show takes place, I believe, it's supposed to be, this season at least is 18 BBY. I think it's 18 BBY. So it's basically been like a year at least since you know Revenge of the Sith. So this is this in Disney's timeline. The first shot collected was for 19 BBY. Basically went defunct. Shortly while in 19 BBY, they reformed again by the time you get to like Ahsoka's Walkabout arc in TCW in 19 BBY. So this is the second time in a year that Maul's had to rebuild the Shadow Collective. He already rebuilt it once in between Son of Dathomir and Siege of Mandalore. Now he has to do it again, like basically a year later. Like, what the heck happened? Like, like? Is he just like? What happened? Like, did they just all betray him to the Empire or something? Like, this shouldn't be just Maul rising again. It should be him just being the mob boss. Like, just him, like, you know, committing crimes, smuggling, you know, like I mean, thing is, the Empire probably does so many restrictions on stuff. There's probably a big market for there's like black market probably is highly desirable amongst people. So like you would think this would be a good business time for Maul, like with the as far as like a demand for black market stuff, like due to the Empire's like restrictions, or whatever. And freaking George Lucas wrote Underworld. Like those out, I'm sure Lucasfilm has access to all those outlines, along with George's sequel trilogy, which at least some version of it had Darth Maul be like one of the major villains. Like what the heck? Like this season, like this is a mobster show written by people who can't write mobsters. Like just like with Book of Boba Fett. Like Book of Boba Fett was expected to be like a mobster show, like with crime lords and all that. It wasn't done how a mobster show should be. Like you need like something like I don't know, maybe watch like stuff from the mobster, like The Godfather, Goodfellas, The Sopranos, Boardwalk Empire. Like actually look at the mobster genre. Like that is how this should have been done, but it wasn't. It was just retarded. Like now, here's what I was saying. Here's the praise I will give for this season. Number one, the voice actors. Like the voice actors do like a really good job given the terrible script they have. So, and with the major highlights being Sam Witwer as Maul and uh and Wagner Malra as Brander Lawson. Like those two definitely stand as far as voice acting is concerned. And obviously there's a whole discussion regarding like Vader not speaking, and I mean my prediction is like so James Earl Jones I believe gave permission for guess Lucasfilm to use like an AI version of his voice. Now, so they have permission. So they have permission, but here's why I think they didn't do it. So the Oscars, with some new rules they passed, they basically banned movies that use AI from winning awards at the Oscars. I think Disney was expecting that the Emmys were going to do a similar thing for TV shows. So, if they use AI James Earl Jones's voice for this show, they would potentially be ruled ineligible for Emmy wins. That being said, I don't believe this show deserves an Emmy win. It is freaking terrible. The writing is awful. But I think they were trying to avoid that issue. Now, our praise, the animation. Look, TCW animation, I'm a fan of. I like TCW's animation. This is like a more refined version of that, and I enjoyed that. And the music, I mean, like the score. I mean, the music's very good. But Star Wars has never had an issue with score. I mean, basically the Kiners, you have Kevin Kiner, who's like basically been like the one of the big like Star Wars like composer for all for Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch, Tales, Ahsoka, and you have basically like so, and you have obviously his two kids, Sean and Deanna, working with him as well. So like the Kiner family did a good job. Like they're basically some of probably the only people at Lucasfilm that actually know what they're doing. Like Dave Filoni, what the heck happened to him? Like he had so much credibility going like after like with all stuff he did like up through like Mandalorian season 2. Like he had so much credibility, but then yeah, yes, you had like the Resistance, but due to Rebel season 4 and Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2, which are basically in production while Resistance was in production. So a lot of people would think, and I would agree with that take of Filoni not being too involved with Resistance outside of saying, yeah, it's about pilots there we go. I mean, that shows and Resistance was so forgotten. I have to remind myself that it exists if I whenever it it needs to get brought up. Like it's so dumb. So and then of course you had Ahsoka and Mandalorian season 3, which both of those basically being back to I think it was Mandalorian season 3 came first, then Ahsoka, and basically those together destroy Filoni's credibility. And yes, he had his reported involvement with the Kenobi show. Some people were thinking, and basically, yeah, he was an advisor for that or consultant, whatever, giving some special thanks. And yeah, he has to approve stuff as the CCO, so he was part of the approval process for a lot of things. I don't know how much power he had in regards to when Obi-Wan released, if he had that role. I don't know. But with Andor, despite people's claims of Gilroy and Filoni having some beef, Filoni approved Andor both seasons. Just saying. Um, and so Dave Filoni, whatever skills he had, it has gotten so much worse. The influence that any influence that George Lucas had on him is freaking gone. The thing is, with Filoni, when he has done well, he has done really well. But when he has done bad, he has done really bad. But the thing is, there isn't really any. I mean, like, this show had potential, but it definitely did not fulfill it. And I remember before this show aired, I was thinking, okay, they screwed up a mobster show with Book of Boba Fett. Are they going to do the same with Maul Shadowlord? And they screwed it up. The animation, the music, the voice acting are all really good. The writing is freaking atrocious. It is atrocious. Like, the whole deal of Vader not speaking. Honestly, if I was Darth Vader, I'd be pissed if I was in this show too. Vader be like, "Oh," I was like, "Yeah, I'm in a Darth Maul show. That sucks. Don't waste my time with having me speak in it. You retarded Lucasfilm producers." Gosh, I mean, like, yeah, they should have bought, I don't know, gotten someone involved with the mobster drama to help out with it to make it actually interesting with mobsters. But no, they didn't do that. But yeah, I don't know how in the world this got a season two. I don't even know if it got if it was a 2 season order thing, I couldn't understand. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know why that was the case, outside maybe because Filoni's in charge of Lucasfilm. But yeah, this was a dumb idea. This was a dumb show. Well, that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.